Hello, class. Welcome to week 2 of public speaking. I wanted to give another video to kind of give you an idea of what to expect this week, things we'll be working on, that kind of thing. I hope week 1 went really well for you and went smoothly. If you're having any trouble, remember I'm here. You can reach out to me. I'm really happy to help you. This week is a very full week. Remember, this is 4 weeks squished into one. And that's why breaking it down into smaller segments, doing a little bit each day, will help this not feel as overwhelming. Now this week, since we do have a lot going on, my biggest tip is you see here there are 2 discussions this week. The first one is just a written discussion, writing your response, talking about how we listen to speeches, how to start strong, and that way we can, talk with each other, figure it out together. That makes it more, effective learning, and it makes you feel not alone in the class. The second discussion here, if you see this, it's discussion/assignment. This one is when you'll have to do a video. It'll be very short. It's a television commercial. This can be fun. You can use visuals if you want. I recommend using Screencast-O-Matic like you see here. I'm able to record my webcam, but I'm also able to record my screen behind it. That way you're able to see what's going on. If you want to do that for a visual in your your television commercials, you totally can. Now your videos are due by Wednesday. I do that to make sure we have those in and give enough time for replies. That way we can help each other out. That's why I recommend before you do anything else is to first do the discussions and get those ready. That way later in the week you can work on replies and you can work on your TED Talk essay and things like that. Now after you work on those discussions and you have some fun, you're kind of doing a television commercial, you can get crazy, it's fun, I promise. Then you'll work on a TED Talk essay. Now this is just analyzing any TED Talk you want. I will go here, this is the TED.com. As you can see, there's more than 4,000 you can choose from. Just avoid something like this where it's a type of cartoon where it's voiced over. You definitely want to find one where they're on a stage rather than, cartoonish style. That way you're able to assess the speaker's hand gestures, you're able to see their eye contact, and kind of get a full perspective of a speech. That's my only criteria for that measurement, is that it does need to be at least a speaker on a stage. If you see that it's just, cartoon and it's kind of a voiceover, they're talking while they show you on the screen, that won't work too well for the assignment. Now, if you need help figuring out which of the many TED Talks to do, I might in the discussion share, hey, these are some of my favorites. Definitely check these out. If you want some help, I'll do that. And then after that, you're going to work towards next week. You'll do your demonstration speech outline. Now, your outline does not need to be intense. You do not have to have it perfect. Don't write out your speeches. It's very, very brief. Actually, I might dive in there and show you what exactly I mean. Now your outline I have here, if you see it's attached, definitely use the template. That is very beneficial. It'll save you a lot of time and stress. Now this, as it's opening up, taking a bit on my computer, here we go. Here is your outline. The big part you're going to want to do is what visuals do you need for your demonstration. For this, it's a lot of fun to have people behind your webcam. That way they can kind of present to them versus a, webcam audience. But hey, if you can't have that, that's fine too. But think about what visuals you're going to need next week. Since we only have a short time together, being able to get something, different might not work. A lot of students have done how to make a PB&J or a recipe in the kitchen, and they kind of show how to do that. They have someone hold the phone. Think about visuals because you will need that for the speech. And then you'll work on attention getter. Now here you do not have to write everything out word for word. It can be very brief. Like for instance, your attention getter, you could just put story or question. You don't have to write it out completely. How you'll connect to the audience, you could say, hey, I've been making this recipe for 5 years and I want to share it with you. That's a way of connecting to the audience and establishing that credibility. And then transitions we haven't covered too much. You can skip this part. So hopefully those watching this hear that. And then you'll do, step one. You'll share how to break it down. Hey, this is step one. Now, the subpoints here are what you'll share about that step. That helps with any awkward moments during your speech. It's really important while you're demonstrating not to have that silent, okay, we're going to do this. And then you sit there and it makes it weird. Like I had a student do slime, how to make slime. And she's like, okay, we're going to add the glue. And then it was like 2 minutes of stirring in absolute silence. Definitely avoid that. That's why on your outline I say, hey, how are you going to talk about this step? Are you going to share a story? Are you going to share, hey, don't forget to do this? Just to avoid those awkward, quiet moments. And then supporting evidence, that's if you had a source. This, again, you can skip for this type of outline. That's in case you had outside sources telling you what's good and what's helpful. Transitions, again, also optional because, hey, might not, we haven't really talked about it too intense. And here is citations, is any source you might use for your demonstration. Say it's something you're not familiar with. This, again, is optional. I just had it there. That way it helps students who are, go-getters and they have sources and they have this to help. The main things you're going to want to do is your steps, how you'll conclude, and your introduction and what visuals you need. That's it. It looks intense. Remember, it does not have to be perfect. You can share sources, but you do not have to have them. And then you'll have your TED Talk written essay. This is focusing on the public speaking skills. Be careful with this assignment that you're not focusing on what the speaker is talking about. Oh, I did give one. You can have an option of looking at any TED Talk you want, but I shared one that's my favorite, but that's completely up to you. And here you would talk about his skills. You'll say, hey, he did good with his eye contact, and he did good with filler words. And you would try to avoid talking about, hey, he talked about how to listen, and this is what he shared. You definitely want to focus on the skills rather than the speech itself. And then here, I have the midterm. What helps you, if you're listening still, because I know this is a long video, is here I have these games that'll let you see the questions that'll be on the midterm. This is a review game. It's fun. It's kind of like Kahoot, but we're not in a classroom, so it's not as, fun to see everybody, but you can see that. If you do these games, you will see all of the questions that will be on the midterm. You do the games, you'll be prepared. It'll help you because I know seeing that word midterm is very scary. It can be overwhelming, and in a speech class, you're like, how are we going to do this? And that's my biggest recommendation, is definitely do those games. Now that's a lot of information. That's a lot going on this week. Definitely break it down day by day. You don't want to do it all at once, all on a Saturday night. You definitely want to do everything a little bit at a time. My recommendation is first do the discussions, get that video out of the way. That way, as you feel ready, you can start typing up and watching the TED Talk. You can think about your demonstration. Definitely plan it out. Now, if you have any questions, remember you can reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. Definitely watch this video to make sure, hey, what to do with the outline again. But if you need help, I'm here. And I hope you have a wonderful week too.